As far as I know, nothing like this has ever been done before. What I'm attempting to do here in this video series is something that many people believe is impossible. It is to heal myself using the power of my mind. We've all heard those stories of people who have miraculously healed from injuries and illnesses and lifelong ailments. They don't know how it happened, and they don't know whether it was a miracle of God or whether it was some kind of reprogramming of their mental belief systems. There probably are lots of books and lots of teachers out there of these types of systems, right? Yet in my experience, none of them actually tell you how to do it. My guess is that's because it's different for everyone, and this is a process that is so personal that you cannot replicate it. So what I'm attempting to do here in this video series is undergo that radical transformation myself, but to do it publicly so that you can see exactly what happens every step along the way. So right now, I have been dealing with really long-term chronic illness and injuries that have led me to become disabled and unable to participate in society in a meaningful way, in the sense that I can't really figure out a way to actually work, make money, support myself consistently and reliably and sustainably. And so I'm in a place where my goals and dreams for my life are not anywhere near what the reality of the situation is. And I'm wondering, what will it take to close that gap? What will it take to create the life of my dreams, not just in some fanciful pie in the sky way, but in reality, so that I can then look at myself and my body and the day-to-day nuts and bolts of what's actually happening and have the real evidence in front of me that I'm actually healed and I'm actually better and I'm participating in society in a meaningful way. How will I get from point A to point B? I have no idea. But my intention and my aim is to go through that process of discovery live here on YouTube, so that others who may be in the same kind of challenges or facing those same kinds of predicaments may be able to somehow glean something from this process or see what exactly is it that I did. And if there's any way that, I don't know if this is possible, but that I can get some principles or some methodology or some system that will be able to be communicated clearly so that you will understand it as much as I don't even know if I understand any of it yet, but maybe I will, and maybe I'll be able to share that with you. That's my hope. So that being said, let me just take a sip of tea. Because right now I'm coming off of being sick for the last week. And I think I'm doing well enough right now that I can actually make a video, whereas before I was really out of it. It's funny, being sick, I realized, it's a change in consciousness. Because when I was so sick, with all of the aches and the headache and the congestion and the pain and the fever and the aches and I said aches already, and the chills and the fever. Did I say fever already? I think I'm out of it still. My mind was in a different space and it wasn't really making sense in the way that it usually does. And it just goes to show how easily the mind state could be changed, in this case, by a virus and by my immune system, I guess, fighting that virus. And it's that same principle we're trying to use here is, what are the ways in which we can change what's happening inside the mind and the body that will change the actual external circumstances of the pain and the injuries and those types of things. And maybe it's a similar principle to how when we are faced with an external conflict like a virus, that our body knows how to respond to that by the white blood cells and the immune system fighting it off, so to speak. So in this case, I'm thinking to myself, I have decided that I want to approach this with an attitude, a position of positivity and almost aggressive, I don't want to say aggressive, but almost like relentless positivity, to where there's no room for anything else. I'm deciding that I'm going to be healed, and there's no other option, and I will not accept any other option for reality other than the best possible outcome for myself. And I'm going to fully believe in that. And I don't care if you say that's delusional, right? And maybe you're not saying that, but part of my mind is saying that's delusional. Maybe you should just accept the circumstances that you're in, which is that you have these conditions and they're prohibiting you from doing what you want to do in your life. You should adapt to that. And I'm saying I don't want to adapt to that. I actually think that I can get better. I actually think that I can heal my body and that someday I will be able to do all the things that I want to do. Maybe I won't be able to be an astronaut, not that I want to do that, but you know what I mean? Like within reason, that there's a certain level of well-being that I can achieve that would basically let me do a lot of the things that I want to do and can't do. Lots of different activities physically and sports and adventures and travel and those kind of things. That I think that it's fair to say that most human beings deserve the chance to use their body to its greatest capacity because, well, the human body is capable of so much, and we're born in this situation where our bodies actually are these miraculous, amazing machines that are so strong, resilient, and flexible, and yet we find ourselves collectively in these situations of illness and disease and epidemics of obesity and heart disease and diabetes and all these things that prevent us from really being able to live the lives that we want to live. And we've just kind of collectively been overwhelmed by these burdens of disease, which are not things that just affect the individual person. In fact, these things are phenomena that affect everyone, that are in fact socially transmitted as well, in a sense that the more that people around you are sick, the more that you're going to be sick as well. And so I'm just looking at it from my own personal perspective of, I don't really want to believe in that reality. Who wants to believe in a reality where we're just going to get sicker and sicker and it's going to continue to go in that direction? If you really ask yourself the question, no one wants that, right? And so I'm one person and I'm one voice among billions, and I'm saying that's not acceptable. That is not an acceptable reality for me. And I hope that there's a lot of other people who believe that too. So maybe I'll start with things like affirmations and like a daily practice where I say, I'm healing myself, or I'm strong, or I'm healthy, and that's the only reality that I accept. And just start to program that by saying it over and over again, even though historically I've never wanted to do affirmations. You know what I mean? I think most people, or not most people, but a lot of people can relate to that. Like, you don't want to sit in front of the mirror and say, I'm great, I'm beautiful, I'm strong, I'm charismatic, I'm healthy. You don't want to sit in front of, I've never wanted to do that. I don't even usually like to look at myself in the mirror or really connect with myself in the mirror. And that points to some deeper issues as well. But all I'm saying is I'm just going to try and focus on being positive as much as I can. And this is the reality that I'm creating, is one where I'm happy, where I'm healthy, where I'm strong, I'm flexible, I'm adaptable, I'm resilient, I'm able to overcome obstacles with ease, with grace, and learn from these challenges, but not be burdened by them, not be taken down by every little thing and every injury, and be taken out of work and not able to work and all the, there's a balance there, because in some ways, most people, well, I'm not going to go into details, but are overworked and we work too many hours and it's not a balanced situation. And then on the other end of the spectrum, those of us who've been kind of too hurt by that system or broken down by that system are no longer able to participate at all. That's not good either. There's some kind of medium ground, some middle ground between overworking and burnout and then just being taken out of the game and sitting on the sidelines. So I guess I keep coming back to this collective aspect of this experience where it really does feel social to me, and it feels global and it feels communal to me. It just doesn't feel like a personal problem that I'm going through on my own. So I'm going to focus within, but I'm going to say, not only will I look at what's within, but I'm going to put out good messaging. I'm going to put out positive messaging that this is a good situation, and trying to create that almost faking it till you make it scenario where I'm going to sit here in front of this camera and say, I'm going to get better. I'm healing. I'm doing well. And I won't always be able to sit in front of you and say that. Sometimes I'll feel too sick or too hurt and I'll just be crawled up in bed. in the middle of the week in an afternoon, when most people are out doing things. But when I can, I'm going to sit here in front of the camera and say, I'm healing, I'm doing better, I'm doing well, I'm healthy, I'm full of energy, vital energy, life force that is going to come from within myself, and it's going to come out into this world in a way that is so beautiful and so connecting and so healing for all the people around me as well. And that give and take that we have in society, which ultimately is so heartfelt, and connecting on that heart level, because I find that, and here's another little sidetrack, that whether or not it's true, the way that I connect with social media is mostly on a mental level, and it's a lot of information that I don't necessarily connect with on a heart level. And that sense of like, oh, I feel okay, and I feel safe, and I feel good, and I feel happy. Most of the time, it's more like this mental agitation on social media, and it's not clear to me how that's going to integrate into my body in a way that makes it feel like wholesome, holistic, like embodied, like heart-centered, and that like connection that you feel when you're in a really good place with friends or with people that you're like in alignment with them, and there's safety and there's connection, there's love, there's beauty, there's laughter, and a lack of anxiety and a lack of fear in those kinds of situations where we're able to let our guard down and participate in a way that is actually not harmful and that's not exploiting people and that's not dangerous and violent, So I keep going back into this whole societal thing. I'm noticing that in this talk. So let's just bring it back around. So how I healed myself using the power of my mind. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to just believe in it 100% and believe in myself 100% that I have everything I need in order to heal. And maybe you're also in kind of that situation where maybe you haven't been able to find the answers outside and through other means of traditional medicine or things like that, where you've reached this dead end of like, I guess I'm going to have to find some other alternative method to heal myself, because I don't accept the fact that I'm just going to be sick for the rest of my life. And that doesn't sound like a really fun way to live out my life as a human being, because if we start thinking about it, we can think, well, yeah, but people have random genetic conditions and people just get sick and it's random and you can't help it and there's nothing you could do about it. And all that though is it's just mental like storylines about things that maybe we're not exactly sure about, and we don't know the truth. We don't actually know if we can heal or not. We don't actually know, regardless of what the condition is. Maybe the doctors say that it's incurable. Maybe the doctors say that you'll never walk again, or whatever it is that's plaguing you, and they say it's just, we don't think that they can ever get better. But they're just people too, with a limited knowledge, right? Every person is a person, and that means their knowledge is limited. They don't know everything. We collectively don't know everything. We don't really know what's possible. So, well, if we can believe that the wildest dreams are achievable, including complete and total healing, then it's possible that it could happen. You don't know that it can't happen, right? So if we believe that it can't happen, maybe, I don't know for sure, but a lot of folks will say that our beliefs can literally limit us. Like if we don't believe something is possible, maybe it's not possible for us. Or maybe the chances of it are shrinking and they're really, really tiny chances. But the more we believe it's possible, perhaps the chance gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Or maybe if we fully believe it's possible, then the maximum best possible chance will be actualized. And again, I don't know if that's true. And I also don't think that it hurts to believe that necessarily. And again, then that voice inside of me, that protective voice or that caution, it's like, no, because if you believe in these things and you're let down, or, it doesn't actually work out for you, then just think how sad you'll be. Maybe you fully believe you can heal and then you don't, and you have to accept the fact that you'll be sick forever, right? So it's telling the storyline. It's like, oh no, I know you're going to be sick forever, and then you're going to be really upset that you had hope and you thought that you could heal, and then, I'm trying to protect you from being disappointed. That voice is trying to protect me from being disappointed that what if I actually can't heal, right? But it's it's an interesting dilemma. We'll say that. I'm just going to pay attention to the feelings in my body when I'm talking about this. Like, I can maybe get a little amped up or pumped up. Like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And I can start to feel energized around that. And we'll see if that energy is just blowing steam or if there's something real to it. If it actually can open something in my heart or in my body, my mind, that might lead to something that is actionable, real, practical, that I can learn and see what's actually going on. Because right now, I don't feel like I know what it is. And these things can be on the mental level, emotional level, physical level, all of the above, spiritual level, wherever that is. So this is just episode 2, and clearly I don't know what's going on yet. And I feel like it's fair to say that there might be a lot more questions than answers as we go into this series. There might be a lot of just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And so for now, I think I'll just leave it at that. And at least I've made another video. I think it's been a few weeks since the last one. It's probably going to be important that I keep up some kind of momentum with these. I'm going to end the video here at this point. There's a lot of questions. We have a lot of questions. We don't know how it's going to happen, but at least I made this video, and at least I, put a second little notch in that belt, if that even makes any sense. And I don't think that does make any sense. But I hope to see you next time in this series of how I healed myself naturally using the power of my mind.